So I've got my drawing gloves here, and I'm going to use a couple things. I've got these drawing pens, and these have different tip sizes. I'm going to pick my favorite ones. This is pretty thin. I don't know if you can see it. And you can usually read the size of them right here. So for sometimes borders and things like that, you want something that's a little bit thicker. It's 0.5. And it goes all the way up to 20. Let's see how thick 20 is. Yeah. All right. Okay, so those are my pens. I don't technically need them right now, so I'm just going to put them away. But they're here. I've got a protractor, really important. And then what else have I got in my toolkit? I've got different sizes of protractors. Oh, let me flip this around. And then I have a compass. So this compass is one that has a pencil in it, the lead in it. So this one has the lead in it already. And that one's pretty handy, except if the tip gets too dull. This one also is a different one. I like sets. So if you don't have a good set, you can buy the pieces individually. So this is one with a pencil. Let's see. We also need a ruler. Probably a longer one. Pencil sharpener if you need it, unless you're using a mechanical pen. And you want a light lead, something lighter. You want to press lightly if you don't have any other kind of lead. So here we go. Let us begin. So here's your paper. You can always tape the paper down. I'm not going to do that today, but I'm going to try. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to start by finding the center. I'm going to draw a small circle. So this one, I like this one. I'm going to say the circle is right around here. I mean, you can measure it and find more appropriately a circle, but you're going to press the point into the paper gently, but so it doesn't move and paper doesn't move and the protractor doesn't slip from your hands. You're just going to turn around. Sometimes it works perfectly. And again, you don't want to push too deeply into the pencil. Oops. A little moisture. Then you want to find the point again. And then for today's, I'm going to try making a few circles that are equally spaced apart, or approximately equally spaced apart. So there's that. Oh, I love this compass. It's so easy to use. I got it from, I believe I got it from an art store. I don't think it was Michael's. I think it was a local family-owned store, but I do not remember. I did get it online, but no, it wasn't through Amazon. So I'm going to start keeping track of those things. And I'll tell you the brand of it if I can figure that out. So if you notice the circles, well, they're not exactly equally spaced apart, but they're close enough. Oh, that one's a little smaller, but that's okay. And if you're doing this on your own, don't worry about getting everything equally spaced. And if you want to do some narrower spaces, that's fine. I'm also going to do a smaller one in here. One thing to keep in mind, I am using one of those IKEA kind of fold out tables, which is great, but if I press the point too deeply into the table, it'll create a little thing. So I'm almost done here, but in the future I'll probably be using a clipboard or something like that, or something underneath my paper. So I'm just circling that. And a little smaller. Yeah, I think that's okay. So I'm going to find the point again. Again, I want to press down, not too hard, but just enough so that it doesn't lose its space in the on the sheet. It's a little harder to do the circles when they're smaller. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles. There you go. That's one of the steps. So next we're going to draw the lines. So I'm going to find a better ruler because my ruler isn't long enough to cross the circle in one go. I don't think I have a rule. Oh, this is pretty good. Let's see if I have another one. Nope. This one is actually pretty good. So I'm going to, for now, just use this. And all I want to do is align the tip of my pencil with the center, so you see the dot and you can feel it, and then just draw a gentle line that can be easily erased. Ideally you want it straight up and down. I think mine's a little bit on an angle, but that's okay. Okay, and then I'm going to dissect this line, and it's just an approximation today. So I'm going to put my pencil here, and I'm going to draw across lightly so that it erases easily. Then I'm going to try to dissect these two, but I want to do it as accurately as possible, so I'm going to use my protractor. I think this is the one I'm going to use because it's big enough to kind of find the center of the circles, but you also want to align the sides. So these lines are aligned, these lines are aligned. This 90 degrees is not aligned. That means my line is off. So I should do my measurements a little bit more completely, a little bit more perfectly. So let's see, get that aligned, the center at least. Okay, it's close. So I'm going to mark some lines. I can mark them here, I can mark them here. I'm just going to mark one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do the same on the other side. 1, 2. I'm just marking those. And I don't technically need to mark the other side, but sometimes it helps, especially if you have slight variations in the angles. So I'm going to line here and try to get that aligned. 1, 2, 3, 4. That aligned there and there. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So 1, 2. All right, so here we go. Here's our, and then I'm going to take the long side again. And I could sharpen the pencil a little bit, so I'm going to do that. Let's make it a little sharper. I missed my electronic sharpener. I have to get another one. Okay, so you're going to go right through the center. You try to line that line and that line. If you notice it a little bit off, it's hard to say how they're off. The most important thing is going through the center. Okay, so I'm going to kind of, there you go. They're not quite on, but you'll notice when I go through the, it went through the center. I could have been over a little bit more if you notice, but that's okay. Okay, so it looks like I need to push my pencil in more because it's getting off the line. So I'm actually going to redraw that line and try to ignore it. There you go. That is much better. Okay, so I'm going to remember to stick to the side of the line. All right, and we're going to continue. This is the most complicated part of the mandala drawing process. Honestly, the rest is just pretty straightforward. Aligning things as best you can. And maybe starting from the center and going out. Let's see if that works. Once you've drawn the matrix, you can start to just zone out and draw and color, and for now we're just using pencil to create the form, and then we'll use marker to, actually we'll use marker to draw the motifs. They're very close to each other, and I think I want to find a different pencil. You want a good eraser too later on when you're erasing. Okay, so here we go. Here's our form. We can start to draw. So I'm going to go straight away with the markers. I'm going to pick which marker I like. So let's see. Let's see the 0.2. The 0.2 is pretty thin. I want to go bold today, a little bit bolder, because we are the basic month. So this is a thicker. I think I'm going to, yeah, it's 0.6. Let's give it a try. Yeah, so it's going to have a nice bold finish. So we're going to start with the different forms. So the first form that we're going to start with is our curve. Okay, and you can start from the inside or the outside. You can start from the middle. I generally tend to start from close to the inside. So but I want to get a nice curve in here. So I'm just going to pick a spot. I can start from here. I'm going to pick a spot here. Try not to hold the marker down and wait too long, otherwise the color will bleed. So just kind of pick a spot, pick your destination, and go. Okay, so I'm going to draw a mirror image of this. Oh, has a little bit of a curve. That's okay. So one way I like to do this so the curve is consistent is I will turn the mandala around and I'll just work on one direction of curve. So I'll skip one, I'll go to the next, go to the next, go to the next, and you can start from the bottom to top or top to bottom, whatever is easier for you. See? You have slightly different curve. So I would try to remain consistent in the way you draw your curves. So if you're going from top corner to the bottom corner, do that for all of them. Remember to skip. Sometimes I forget to skip. Okay. And then I'll do the other side. So what I'll do is I will turn it and go like this. Again, you can start from here and move down. Notice how I didn't connect it, so I'm just gonna, I might have to fix that up with some whiteout or something like that, or maybe it won't be noticeable, especially if I thicken the lines later on. I like having as much of a clear space as possible, and usually I'll play some nice music or a podcast, maybe a drawing meditation. I hope to create a few of those in the future that you can use. Also, you want to make sure your marker doesn't bleed through onto your surface. So these ones don't. Those permanent markers, those thicker markers usually bleed. So I would test it first. If they do bleed, use a clipboard or some sort of surface. So that wasn't a great one, but we can fix it if we double. So look at this. We already have this beautiful flower image. So it's already starting to form. Okay, so I'm going to pick, I'm going to use the same type of curve, but I'm going to do it in a different way because I want it to look like this. So I want it to go like this and like this. Okay, so I'm going to start by skipping and going like that. So notice how, notice the position of the curve. Second layer. And it's okay if you make a mistake. Honestly, especially when you get to bigger mandalas, sometimes it's hard to see some of the little errors. So already you can see what's happening here. It looks kind of like a beautiful flower. Yep. Remember to breathe. Deep inhales, slow exhales. I love it. All these messy lines will be a thing of the past. Okay, so we could continue with this kind of pattern and you'll just have a consistent kind of floral pattern that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We can start to change things. So I'm going to start to change things. I'm going to do a dome, but I'm going to do a dome on, I'm going to do a dome like this. And you kind of practice. You might have practiced doing some domes. it's hard to know where the line is. So you know what? I'm actually going to take my compass and create a line so I can make sure the tops of my domes are consistent. And you can either be really specific and pencil in exactly where the top of the dome should touch, or you could do more free form. Sometimes when your surface, your arm can move around a little easier, you can make smoother images. If you're going over in pencil first, then you can always, you know, correct. All right, what a beautiful little dome. Oh my goodness. So I want to keep creating the structure of the mandala. So now I'm going to take it from round and curved to more angular. I'm going to skip this second line around the and I'm going to just draw straight lines. If you want, you can use your ruler to be more accurate. Oops, so I made a mistake there. I'm going to have to wipe that out. Actually, take a different approach. And I'm noticing some of these are a little bit wider. That's okay. Oh, I'm starting to curve them. Straight, straight, straight. I'm going to draw that round motif, but off to the side. So it's almost a dome, but it's not an even dome. It's kind of swaying over to the side a little bit. So it's more wide and round, wide and over. So sometimes it's hard to stay consistent with uneven motifs. It's okay. It just adds to the beauty of. Notice how some of the spaces are a little bit bigger. Let's see if I go this way. Oh, well, that's actually a way to do it. My better way to do it, but then they're a little bit more curved. This is really interesting. I like this. So I'm just using curves. And however your different motifs turn out, they're going to be lovely. It's good. Your mandala, your whole mandala, the final. Sometimes it's hard to see the final. So this one's a little bit too curved. That's okay. It's hard to see the forest for the trees until you step out of the forest. Interesting. So this is really pretty. So I'm going to go completely different. I'm going to do X's. Or I could do the same thing in the opposite direction, but that was a lot of work. So I'm going to do X's, but I'm just going to do I'm going to take it completely out of form. I'm going to go X. I'm mixing curvy with kind of more boxy triangles. So now I've got these spaces. I actually want to go in here. And I've got, you can draw circles freehand, or you might find circular stencils that help. So let's see if I can put a sticker in here. A circle. Or do I want to put a circle in here? No, I'm going to put the circle inside. Could also put a circle in the domes. Ooh. I do have other stencils that have even smaller circles. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take the circle and put it in here. So basically when I just line the top and the sides and to figure out how you're going to line where you're going to place the circle, and just try to be as consistent as you can. And small variations, not going to make a big deal, not make a difference. Don't remember which size you used. I once drew mandala. It was beautiful, but I kept using the wrong size. I kept switching between these three sizes. And make sure you stretch and try to sit with as straight back as possible. Find sit as ergonomically as possible. That might mean for you standing instead of sitting. Every 20 minutes or so, pause the video, put down your pen and your stencils or whatever else you're using, and stretch. Oops, I made that too small. I'm gonna see. Ooh, that's kind of cool too. We're almost done the form. So now thinking about what we want to do on these outside pieces. We could do a dome, just like a round dome, like we did here. That might be nice. We can do a reverse dome. But I feel like the mountains, the peaks are already pointing out. It'd be nice to point them in. Let's see. Let's start with the petal. I'm going to draw petals on the tips of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this like this. And I'm going to draw like half of a petal. This is a bit of a round petal. So I'm going to work on making it a little bit thinner. This is just kind of a simple, I'm going to say relatively quick mandala. So we're not too concerned about how perfect these lines and these curves are. The end result's still going to be really lovely. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to shift my paper to where I feel it's comfortable to draw. You want to try to draw your motifs, whether you're doing partial motifs, like I'm doing, starting with one side of the leaf and then connecting the other side one at a time. You want to try to draw it consistently. So you can try a few times, okay, you know, from bottom to top, bottom to top. That doesn't feel good. Maybe try top to bottom. For me, I realize it feels better, so I'm going to try and do the rest of them bottom to top. There's still a little bit more consistency if you draw things in the same way. Alright, look at this. It's pretty. I want to draw more dots. Or diamonds. I don't have my diamond stencil, but that would have been fun. So I'm going to dig those up and find them. But you know, there's this little unique piece here. So if we find the point of each dome, or kind of estimate the point, you can draw these little diamonds in here. So just curving up and curving down. Okay, and you can do one side, I'm trying to find the right angle for the curve, and I think maybe drawing it this way. Let's see. Oh, it's so pretty. All right. So the outside, we can go further, deeper if you want, but I'm gonna stop right here. If you want to continue on with this and build more outward, you can. I'm gonna focus on the inside. So got two main layers here. I want to create a circle inside. It's going to be tough to find. Really want to figure out the center. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to create, this part's going to be easy. This part's going to be easy. I'm just going to draw the lines here. So I'm going to actually use a straight edge and try to follow the lines to the center. And this is one of the places where you can fix lines that are slightly off. And again, it's okay if it's not perfect. This is gorgeous. So right now I could stop here and I could just erase everything and then color in different ways, even different coloring patterns. But I think I want to add more detail with the help of the grid lines before I erase the lines. So I want to do something interesting here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just double, starting from the midline here. I'm just going to pick a spot. I'm perfect. I'm just going to double like that and see how it looks all the way around. And it's okay if these aren't perfect. Doubling is really nice. I actually want to go a little bit more with the doubling. I want to go down and up. A little bit more freeform. It's kind of nice, a little bit more organic. Going too fast. I want to try to make them look the same. They also should probably come in about the same. I should probably draw a circle and try to get them in, but we can fix that later. So I'm just going to start, find the point and come down. And the more you do, the easier it'll be to do all these. That looks really, really nice. So I want to do a couple more things. I'm going to draw some circles with my stencil. I'm going to use this big one here. And I'm going to try to align it with, actually, I think I'm going to use this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to align it like this, right in the center. This is really cool. I want to do something about these domes. It'd be cool if we drew another circle inside, but I want to leave it where it is. Let's see what we can do about those. I'm actually going to draw, I'm going to connect the lines. That's what I'm going to do. So they're hearts, so you can keep them as hearts if you want. This is really cool. All right. So I'm just going to let this dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to erase. So you want to make sure that your ink is dry. There's some really fast drying, quick drying pens out there. I haven't used these ones in a long time, so just in case, I want to give this room to breathe. We are back. We are going to erase. You want one of the white or art erasers that easily erases and doesn't smudge. So make sure it's clean. You might want to erase on a little. Notice how this one's a bit dirty, so it left some smudges on the side. So just give it a clean. If you have a favorite eraser you love, use that. I love these white ones. So there's usually the ones I pick. Right. So be careful about erasing too aggressively. You could crunch the paper. We're just going to gently go around. You might need a garbage nearby. Notice whether the ink is smearing or not. If it is, usually one direction like this. If the ink is smearing, then you need to either let it dry a little bit more, maybe come back to it tomorrow. Usually like just kind of erasing in one direction firmly. I'm holding the paper down too, so it doesn't bunch up. Yeah, it looks like the pencil's coming off easily, which is good. Sometimes if you use like a dense, dark lead, it's hard to, or you press down too hard into your pencil, it's hard to remove the lines. And I hope you picked a good soundtrack for yourself. I'm just looking to see if there's any lines left. Wow, look at that. It's very, very cool. To me, it looks like flowers and a little bit of, I don't know, something aquatic. You can color it, you can go lines, you can thicken the lines, you can do whatever you like. And we'll cover that in the second video. Congratulations. Thank you so much for watching this video.